Good afternoon and welcome to Stock Market Today. It is Monday, March 2nd, and we're live from the Investors Business Daily Studios in Los Angeles. It's Justin Nielsen along with Ed Carson today. And Ed, we've got a lot to talk about. It was a very strong day in the market. We're going to talk about JDcom. Surprisingly, some Chinese retailers doing very well. Costco, another retailer, and Adobe. But first, let's talk about the major indexes. We had the S&P 500 close up 4.6%, NASDAQ Composite up 4.5%, Dow Jones Industrials up 5.1%. So a very sharp rebound from, kind of continuing what we saw on Friday going into the close, and we just accelerated into the close again today. So what do you make of it? Time to jump back in?
Yeah, not exactly. Not time to jump back in. It was very nice, but the fact is that some of the best days, basically almost all the best days in stock market history come in stock market corrections and bear markets. Sometimes they come at the end, but usually they're right in the middle of it. And so, you want to wait. And we have a stock market rally attempt. We're at day 2, technically, on these. For a stock market rally attempt, you'd want to wait a couple more days, see then if we can follow through in the coming days. Starting middle of next week, this week through next week. Maybe it'll happen, but even then it's not a guarantee. But still, very nice to see this. This comes amid some more coronavirus deaths, which I think everybody knew was coming, especially as we start doing more testing. Washington State might be an issue. There's a lot of coronavirus cases outside of China. So that's still an issue. Central banks are going to probably start cutting rates, Australia overnight, and followed by Canada maybe later this week, and then maybe the Fed. A lot of things going on, but we'll see. You don't want to wait. Yeah.
So it seemed like, there was a lot of central bank talk over the weekend. Now, let's kind of step back a little bit to that follow-through day concept. So you mentioned, day 4 or later is what we're looking for. This is only day 2. What should people be looking for, and what does it mean when you get that follow-through day?
Follow-through, it's usually 4th day or later. You usually want at least one of the major indexes to be up like 1.25% or so in higher volume than the prior session. The more volume, the better. The bigger gain, the better. That just shows you that institutions sort of like believe in it. Okay, you've had a good day or two because there's a relief rally, and that's sort of what this is for now. But then, I'm really serious. I'm going to put money down on day 4, day 5 of this rally, the big institutions, and that suggests it may last. Now, sometimes it doesn't work, and when you have a vertical violation like this, it often takes a while to shake out. If you look at the late 2018 correction, we had a couple follow-through days that did not work, and they rolled over very quickly. If we do have a follow-through, you probably want to get in, maybe just tip your toes if there's something to buy, but don't just jump on in and say, I'm buying everything. I don't care if it's wild and crazy, I'm buying everything, because there's a decent chance that would fail.
And that's what we can do, is we can kind of scale in, and we only put more money into the market if the market is telling us that our decisions were correct, and so it's kind of a feedback loop there. Okay, let's talk a little bit about stocks, and China definitely had a plethora that you had to choose from. JD.com was up about 12%. Over 12%. Looks like it was closing at 12.45%. So big, strong rebound in JD.com. What was going on there?
Well, they had strong earnings, and their guidance was pretty good, which is especially good when you see the coronavirus going on. People are worried about that situation. Stock blasted above its 50-day line, got to a new high. The stock already, its RS line was at a 52-week high, and it just spiked higher today. So very positive action in that regard. China coronavirus cases have slowed dramatically in China, especially outside of Wubai. Actually, Wubai not too many cases there, but there's almost no cases outside of the Hubei area. And so, maybe business is picking up again. And so we saw this, Tal Education, New Oriental, they warned on revenue, and yet those stocks rallied today. So, it's sort of like the epicenter, like the blast zone, like that might be the first place you see the green shoots popping back up.
And a lot of it was talk about, was this overdone, to begin with? What did it get too oversold? Again, you can debate that. When it comes down to it, you really have to follow what the market is telling you. And, you don't want to fight, whether it's overdone. It can still go down a lot more, even when you think it's overdone. Let's go ahead and move to another retailer kind of closer to home, Costco. Now, we were kind of talking around the office, of some people that were going to Costco and finding it was a little bit more crowded than they were expecting for their weekend shopping, as people were kind of, stocking up on things.
Yeah, I mean, that seems to be what drove Costco. It also drove Walmart. Costco surged back above its 50-day line. It had been getting, around its 200-day line. So nice rebound here. The stock has, it has earnings later this week, so even if this were a good market, even if we're in buying position, you'd want to be aware of it. So there's all sorts of reasons why you may not want to get into it. I'm a little surprised. If you buy a 50-pound jar of peanut butter and the pandemic ends, you still have 49 pounds. I mean, it seems like they've pulled forward some sales. I mean, maybe they grabbed some sales because I'm going to do all my shopping here today rather than going to Rouse, but it sort of seems like a one-off event. But, these things happen with hurricanes and other situations. You'll see certain retailers get a boost, at least temporarily.
And now Costco does have earnings coming up on March 5th, so that's something to be aware of as well. And finally, wrapping it up, Adobe. Now, this is one that joined our long-term leaders list. We just launched that over the weekend. That's something that you can find as our newest stock list, IBD stock lists on investors.com. Talk to me a little bit about Adobe and what this might mean for a portfolio.
Well, I mean, Adobe, it's back above its 50-day line. RS line is at or near new highs. I think just in general with software, they don't have the supply chain issues.
Yeah, right.
I mean, the economy, if the economy is not doing well, maybe people aren't buying software, but it doesn't have those issues that a chip maker, an automaker, a lot of other things would have. If people want to buy it, they can buy it. And there'll be another one. A long-term leader, these are stocks that maybe you look at in a correction.
Right.
Again, you'd want to see how it shakes out, like especially if it came down like calmly to its 40-week line, you might be thinking about buying it around there. I know you've been working hard on that with Mike and Chris about that. If you could talk about, maybe the buying strategies, probably not right now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the thing is you have to kind of gauge how invested you want to be in the market right now. And, with the destruction that we saw, that vertical violation, it's certainly, you do look for the long-term leaders, kind of those pullback opportunities, but you have to balance that out with a good market too. So you want to make sure that you are in that uptrend and it's a pullback in that overall uptrend, which so far this looks like, but that was very steep, and so you can't go all out right now in anything, So still a lot of caution, and keep in mind too, if people were kind of buying, getting excited. This might be a very temporary recovery. As you said, a lot of times that's what you see in these corrections, where it'll be a temporary rally and then it rolls over and potentially even goes to new lows.
So yeah, I mean, we actually put this, oddly enough, a long-term leader, we put this on Swing Trader today, right?
Yeah.
Which is like, but if you buy it in that sense, you have to be ready to cut that loss really quick, because this is maybe very much a very short-term trade.
Yeah, and one of the reasons why we did that was because we want to make sure that we're not getting too volatile of names in there. So we want some slower names. Again, we're not expecting this to go up huge, but if we can get a little bit out of it in a very short period of time, then maybe we play it that way. So that'll do it for us today. We will definitely see how things turn up tomorrow, so please join us for that. And also be aware that Allie is back in New York for the NASDAQ. She's ramping up season 2 of Investing Strategies, so that's really exciting. If you want more information on that, that'll be dropping later on. Investors.com/investing strategies to see the really cutting edge interviews that she's doing with people out at the NASDAQ composite, or the NASDAQ in New York.
Yeah, she's talking to Randy Watts today, or she did earlier today, so that should be good. One of our IBD portfolio managers.
Well, he's William O'Neill.
William O'Neill, sorry.
Yeah. William
of course,
O'Neill. But yeah, very knowledgeable, really knows what he's talking about. So that's going to be a great interview. And speaking of other great education things coming up, we do have a webinar coming up. This is going to be a fun one. It's Rusha and Scott St. Clair, 2 of our MarketSmith product coaches, and they're going to be talking about nailed it or failed it. They'll be going through some of their own trades and what they kind of did right, what they kind of did wrong. It's always important to be making sure that you learn from your mistakes, and you can find out more information about that at investors.com/webinar. That's coming up on March 10th, so do register for that. And if you're not able to make it live, you can always hit the archive on that. So a lot of options for you, but we do hope to see you there at the webinar, and also we hope to see you right back here tomorrow, and have a good day.
Favor and actually just take the laptop off the table.
I can.
Thank you.
Anything you say.